For the Gates, the interview itself, you get to interview with one of 4 different panels. There's a social sciences panel, humanities panel, arts, and hard sciences, which is nice because, especially for the hard sciences people, you get to be a little bit more specific when you're discussing your topic than you might otherwise get to be. And unlike some of the other applications, some of the other interviews, it's not supposed to be an adversarial process. And like you were saying, it's supposed to be more of a conversation. And they want you to, they want to give you the opportunity to show how passionate you are and how interested you are in the topic, and not be sort of paralyzed with nervousness. They want to have a conversation with you, which is why we ended up talking about sort of pop fiction rather than the sort of nitty-gritty of what I wanted to study. So I think, you know, you get the opportunity to really get into it with them, and even if they aren't people that know much about your field, they are people who are interested in the general topic of which you're interested in. For the Gates, you find out the day before who your interviewers are. Mine were mainly economists and ex-military people who were now scholars, which for me, going in and talking about how we're mean to criminals was not the easiest panel to go into. But you Google them beforehand. Again, you get as much information as possible, and hopefully going in, you feel comfortable conversing with them. I haven't told Denise this story yet. I don't think she's going to appreciate it very much. But during my interview, I started talking about child pornography. Yeah. So So my senior thesis was a lot about sex offenders and treatments that the government is starting and scientists are starting to come up with to try to curb their sexual predilections. And also at my job at the Federal Defender's Office, we're often assigned to work with offenders or people who have been charged with viewing or distributing child pornography. And so I started talking during this interview about how I think we mistreat child pornographers in jail. And in my head, I'm screaming, Toph, what the heck are you doing? This is ridiculous. You're talking to military types. You're talking to people who, you don't know what their background is. You don't know anything about them. And how can you possibly have thought that you should bring this up? And I'm sure that if you guys interview, you'll also have these moments of panic during the interview where you're like going down the wrong path. But they went with it, and they were really open to discussing it, to asking more questions about it. I think the thing that showed me is I didn't screw up the whole interview by bringing up something that maybe is sort of contentious or something that's a little out of left field, but they actually, I think they actually appreciated the fact that I had done my research on it, and I had some strong opinions that I felt very, very powerfully about. So I guess, moral of that story is they just want to hear what you're interested in, even if it's something that maybe isn't the most politically correct or user-friendly topic.